He passed his entrance exam with a broom. There's a story behind that. This is your daily message from Chad number 1096 to upgrade your mental game today by telling yourself a better story, because the most important story you hear is the story you tell yourself. This message is dedicated to you for being a daily message from Chad listener. Today, June 15th, is the podcast birthday. 3 years ago today, I started sending out audio messages to my kids, and every day since I've made a new message. I appreciate you listening. Here's the upgrade. You want to grow to get ahead, but upgraded thinking knows it's a bigger blessing to give than to get. Here's the story. Booker T. Washington was born into slavery in 1856. As a boy, he worked salt furnaces and coal mines in West Virginia. He had no schooling. He taught himself his letters from a worn spelling book his mother put together for him. And then he heard about a place called Hampton, a school where a poor black boy could actually get an education. So he went, some 500 miles away, by rail when he could afford it, by wagon when he couldn't, and on foot the rest. He arrived filthy, exhausted, and nearly broke. The head teacher didn't hand him a written test. She pointed at a recitation room and told him to sweep it. He swept it 3 times, he dusted it 4, and when she ran her handkerchief over the woodwork looking for dust, she couldn't find a speck. That was his entrance exam. He passed it with a broom. They let him in and gave him a job as a janitor to pay his way. Now here's what he did with it. Everything that got poured into him, he turned around and poured back out. At 25, he was sent to Tuskegee, Alabama to start a school with almost nothing, about 30 students and a rundown shanty. So he had the students make the bricks. He had them build the buildings with their own hands. He grew himself first, and then he spent the rest of his life growing other people. The goal of the Tuskegee School, which became the Tuskegee Institute and eventually Tuskegee University with an endowment of $157 million on a 52-acre campus, was not to train farmers and construction workers, but teachers of farming and construction who could then go back to their communities and teach others. The last of John Maxwell's 15 invaluable laws of growth is the law of contribution. Growing yourself enables you to grow others. The highest level of growth is adding value to people. Booker T. Washington could have told himself, hey, I earned this. I clawed my way up 500 miles and this is mine. Instead, he lived a different story. He understood that everything he'd been given was something now required of him to pass on. The better story to tell yourself is, I realize much is given to me and much is required. One of Jesus' stories is the parable of the talents. 3 managers were given substantial resources, but only 2 of them did something with what they were given. One manager buried his resources, thinking he was doing something noble by keeping it safe. The master actually labeled him as wicked and lazy and gave what he had to one of the other managers. You've been given much. The lessons, the mentors, the abilities, the broom in your hand that somebody entrusted you with. None of it was ever just for you. What is your contribution? Tell me a story of contribution to fromchadsmith@gmail.com. Send someone a text and ask them, what is a gift or talent you have that you've been feeling needs put to better use? You can get a free copy of my book, The Most Powerful Story in the World, by going to fromchad.gumroad.com. The transcript of this message and hundreds of others are always available at www.fromchad.com.